No Kings is this Saturday, March 28th. Here in Boise, it's at 10 a.m. at the Idaho State Capitol. And so a couple questions we got is, why would we have our big rally on a Saturday when the legislators aren't present? Why would we have music when, we're talking about the future of democracy? And, why would we do it this way? And so I think it's important to kind of line out the difference between a rally, a protest, and direct action. Part of the difference is the intended audience, part of the difference is the objective, and the other part of the difference is the risk tolerance associated with those actions. So if you are a casual watcher of the news and you've seen No Kings and you think that's the only thing that is happening, first thing you got to say is, that's wrong. No Kings protest is, a tiny fraction of the work we do. But having it on a weekend and having it done in a way that draws as many people as possible has power, because the audience for that isn't Governor Little. The audience isn't Senator Risch or President Trump. The audience really is our fellow man and fellow people, and we want them to have an easy way to show up and be involved. And so another misconception is that a rally like this is just us walking around with speeches and holding up signs. And that is a fun part of it. We love our artists. We love, making these signs. But really, the meat of the work is going to be the organizations that show up. At No Kings, for us here in Boise, I think we're up to 26 booths. And those booths represent the people that are doing the actual real work of democracy and the real work of change. And we want to make it appealing and appetizing for as many people who are aligned with the message to show up. And I want them to see the people that are doing the actual work. So we're really trying to negotiate an exchange for the people who are fed up with the administration and don't know what to do, have never done activism before, and want to learn how to get involved. And we're giving them that opportunity to learn how to do that. Every speech that we have lined up, the whole purpose is to tell the people what they can do to take part in their democracy. And with these, over 20 booths that we have up is giving an opportunity for these organizations that are out there every day, as I said, doing the real work, to talk to everyday people and get them involved in some way, whether it's donating money, donating time, or just understanding what that work actually looks like. So a rally like this is kind of different than a protest, because the protest, the intended audience really is whoever or whatever it is you're protesting directly against. And so, we've had several midweek protests at City Hall, protesting, various issues like the war in Iran, the attack in Venezuela, the presence of ICE, and we've had protests midweek at the Capitol too. We've had lots of them, actually, where we're showing up and actually trying to talk to Governor Little, actually talking to Senators Risch, Crapo, and then Representatives Simpson and Fulcher. And so part of it is we want them to be that audience as well. But in those cases, the audience is also our fellow citizen, for them to see how little care that our representatives actually have for us, because we have tried to meet with them several times over the last year. We have actually met with their staffers to try and have that redress of grievances, and have gotten nowhere. So part of it now is not only to make sure that our representatives know that we are here and we are working to help them lose their jobs, but also to help the people understand what we're doing and how we are tackling that. Now, so part of that too is people are less available during the week to do these actions. People are sometimes uncomfortable with that level of confrontation that is required to do those actions, and the risk is a little bit higher because we are being disruptive. And then we get into direct action. Direct action again, we'll have an even smaller audience because the risk is higher and the convenience is less. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to take folks from this rally that draws, in Boise, probably 15,000 people, and get as many of those people interested and activated to doing protests and direct action, but also doing the mutual aid part and doing the political engagement part. We're taking that rally as we're the top of the big funnel to get these people activated. So we want them to come and have fun, feel that sense of community, and get involved. And then hopefully get as many of those people to that next step as possible. So that's a big reason why a rally and a protest feels fundamentally different in a lot of ways, and they both serve different purposes. Now, something we do see from folks, especially those that have been activists for a long time, they're frustrated that people don't immediately understand what they do, why they do it, and immediately join in and engage. Or, they may have some kind of grievance with, how we send the message. And, I want them to understand that when we're crafting this message, we are crafting it for the general public to try and get them involved. That message isn't crafted for the hardened activist that has been in this game for a long time. And if we did it for crafted that message for the activists, the general public would not understand it and would not relate to it. And so if you're one of these folks that are, don't like the messaging or whatever, and say, oh, I'm not going to participate in No Kings because they're not addressing issue A, B, or C enough, I would say, reframe your thinking. What we have is a population of people that are ready and interested in political activism, all gathering in the same spot. That is the power of the rally. And if your organization is not seeing that as an opportunity to go and talk to those people and recruit them to do the actions that you want to do and focus on the issues you want to focus on, then you're missing out on a huge opportunity. And so I want some of these folks to look past, their immediate circle and their immediate horizon and see this as a giant opportunity to reach out to people and engage with them, pull them into your organization and start filling your ranks up with some new folks. And then also be ready to teach them, because you may have been in this world for a long time, but a lot of these people haven't. A lot of these people have not seen this level of insecurity or discomfort before this year. And so they don't know what it's like and they don't know what to do. And you should take on that role of being able to take them in and teach them to take on more compelling action. Because you're right, the rally by itself does nothing but bring people together. And it's those actions, how many of those people that we can then move on to the next stage of more direct action and political involvement and mutual aid and all of that stuff. That is the real thing that matters in terms of our impact. Like, I don't want people to come to our rally this week and then feel like they did something, because they didn't. We're going to give them all to-do lists of things that are related to the booths that we have and the speakers that we have, so that they can go home and do the next thing, because the next thing is the actual work. That is the real thing that we're trying to get people to do. And I really want people to understand that. I want people, the everyday Joe that's, doesn't pay close attention to what's going on in the world, that just happens to come because they don't like Trump. I want them to come. I want them to understand what the work is. But I also want all these organizations to come and pull those folks in and get them doing that work. So come enjoy the party. We're going to do this on a Saturday so that more people can come out. And we're going to have, a musical lineup that is interesting and makes people happy, because that will actually draw people out and get them involved in the message. So I hope that answers some questions, and I hope y'all will come out on Saturday, fill this space up, have a really good time, but then also be ready to do the work that comes on Sunday. Peace out.